What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I hope you like this video. This is going to be your review for the Belle Collective Season 1, Episode 4. So, we are we are talking with Miss Tambra. Tambra. She's meeting with her friend Ramona, who seems like she's sort of like a mentor to her. And she's basically having the conversation with her about, can I have it all? She said, I'm starting to look at some other things now. I want to get into TV. I've sort of got the TV bug, but I want to be on a national platform. I really don't want to do a lot more local TV. And then she talked about some of the things she's done. She's done Dish Nation, and she's done a few things here and there. She said, but I wanted to talk to you about, I had a birthday recently, and I talked to my family, and I'm really contemplating this idea of marriage versus, career. And Ramona tells her, she said, listen, first of all, I've been trying to push you out that bubble for a long time. I've been trying to push you to, push yourself to be on a bigger stage. I think that's something you can do and be successful at. She said, as far as the family part, I'm not saying you can't have both, but, you know, at the end of the day, you know that you're going to have to make some sacrifices. And she said, well, I hope I'm not prying, but you don't have children. Was it that because you never wanted children? And she said, no, I wanted children. I wanted a family. She said, but it just didn't work for me. She said, when I finally slowed down long enough to try to do that, to try to have, a child, I just realized that my child will be probably spending more time with a nanny than with me. And that was just a decision that I made. She said, now I'm not sitting here saying it can't work for you, but you just have to be realistic. If you're talking about you trying to embark on this next chapter, you got to really think about it. And so later on in the episode, we see her meet up with her ex-boyfriend, the guy she dated for like 16 years. And they were having the conversation of basically, why didn't it work out? Why didn't this work with us? And he said, when it got to the point, and she said, well, you weren't always the most romantic. Like, our relationship didn't end on a bad note, but it just got to be more business and not enough romance. And he said, well, honestly, I I just saw the potential in you, and I wanted to push you to that. I wanted to push you to be the best that you could be and push that potential in you. And that's just what I saw in you. And and she said, so, because when he said, well, I wasn't dating Tambra anymore. I was dating Tambra Cherie. And she said, well, explain to me the difference, because that's who I am. Like, that's my name. And I was like, girl, you know what he's talking about. He started dating the personality, not the person anymore. Um, but he said, would you be open to a second date? And she said, sure. And she said, I'm not saying that me and him would never get back together. Like, I'm definitely open to it. What I hope she's not going to do, though, is stay with what's comfortable. Like, I know him, he knows me, and rather than me go out here and embark on a new relationship, but I'm ready to settle down and have some kids, and he'll do. That's what I hope is not happening. So then Latisse. Y'all know I'll be messing these names up, child. All these lies. Um, she's meeting with the council member and the city contractor and who was the third guy? Who was the third guy? Anyway, but I want to say he was maybe the city real estate manager. I'm not sure, but anyway, the people that she needed to talk to. And they were meeting in front of the building that she's interested in, buying, the theater. And she said, the upstairs would be a great venue, and in the downstairs we could have offices, and it would be a great thing. And the guy tells her, he says, listen, I hate to be the one to bust your bubble, but you can't buy this building. She said, I can't buy this building. He said, this is a landmark. He said, this has been declared a landmark. Like, you can't buy it. Now, you can lease it. And then maybe after you've leased it and you've done some things, we can maybe have a conversation. But ultimately, I don't know if that's even going to be an option. So she said, okay, well, if I decide to lease it, what is it going to take, to get it up to code and all of that? Um, By the time he got done talking, child, he was up to almost $2 million. And of course, she was like, whoa, $2 million. She said that's kind of more than what I was expecting, but it's not undoable. Like me and my friends got some deep pockets, and I'm here, you know, for the challenge. I'm up for the challenge. So she's gonna move forward, even though it's kind of outside of what she was expecting, and she was disappointed at the fact that she couldn't just buy the building outright. You know. So listen, y'all. Marie and her son meet for their counseling. Y'all, y'all, y'all. Maybe it's me and I never had any children, and maybe that's why my mindset is a little bit different. But I just felt like that whole counseling session, we still weren't getting to the meat and potatoes. And the meat and potatoes, yes, I get it that you had your child, you wanted to give him everything you felt like your mother didn't give you. I understand that you felt abandoned by your mother and you spoiled him, and he doesn't realize how good he has it. He doesn't realize how spoiled he is. But here's the reality of the situation. Yes, he does. He doesn't give a damn. You're not going to sit here and tell me that he doesn't understand the fact that he done went out here and made 3 children, all under the age of 1, and that you are literally financially take care of all of them and the baby mamas, that he thinks that's normal. There's no way that he doesn't understand at 20 years old that that is not how life goes. I'm sorry. He said, and he still didn't apologize when they played the tape, because of course Marie gave the counselor the tape for him to hear what was said. He still didn't say, I feel really bad about what I said to my mom. I feel really bad that my anger got the best of me. No, he still said, he's defending himself and saying, I mean, I just didn't see what the big deal was. I was still going to school. Why does it matter where I'm going to school? So he still doesn't feel like he did anything wrong and that there's an issue. And that's the problem. Then the counselor gonna tell Marie, yeah, don't record anymore. There's still love here, but we just have to build some trust. I wish I would. What you mean don't? What? I don't know, y'all. I wasn't feeling the counseling session. And then he gonna talk to him and put it in basketball terms. And Marie gonna say, well, I like the way he talked to him because he understands things better in basketball terms. He's 20 years old. He can understand it in grown man terms, okay? If he old enough to go out here and make sure, then he old enough to understand when somebody tell you that the way you treated your mama wasn't good, wasn't okay, and it wasn't acceptable. The hell kind of craziness is this? Anyway. All right, so then we have Cherie and Antoinette. Antoinette and Latisse going to the Black History Museum. I'm not about to sit here and spend a whole bunch of time on that. They went to the Black History Museum and they talked about how bad life was for Black people. Okay. And then Latisse invited Antoinette to come to. She's having another brunch, and that's when she's going to introduce her Farish Street project, because again, at the last brunch she didn't get a chance to do it because the 2 women got the cat. So that is what they do. Okay, so we get to the brunch and the ladies show up, and some Antoinette is a lot more appropriate than she was the first time and all of that good stuff, but she invited her friend, I think her name is Avalon, the white friend. Here's the thing. I feel like from the very beginning you didn't set this woman up. You invited her to a brunch full of accomplished Black women, and this is about uplifting Black women, and you invite her. And it's, again, I understand we want to all be inclusive and all of that, but at the end of the day, was that the best decision, Antoinette? So Antoinette is going around the room speaking to everybody, and Marie is giving her, a little bit of shade. And she was like, "But me and you don't have no beef. Like, what is wrong?" And she was like, "You don't have your entourage today. Oh, I mean, you be acting funny when your entourage is around." And she was like, "But Marie, me and you don't have no Kaylon. Me and you don't have no beef. Like, what's the problem? Like, I come in peace, girl. It's a new day. Damn." So the councilman is there. He's there as well because they're going to make the announcement about Fair Street. And the older woman that Letice had talked to about Fair Street, she's there as well. So this ain't just y'all, okay? There's some other people here and some people to be respected, okay? So they getting ready to start the brunch, and Letice gets up to do her affirmations. And the first thing, and so it's like pair it with somebody and repeat after me. I'm a strong black woman. Well, first of all, the council man had paired up with Kaylon, who was a white woman. So neither one of y'all are strong black women. Okay? And then the affirmation just so went on for there. So I think Kaylon felt uncomfortable from the beginning. Like, okay. So then they get to talking, and they get to talking about racism. Because, of course, they're building up to what Fair Street was, what it meant to the community, what it meant to our people and our culture, and this is what I want to revitalize. Like, I know where they were going with it. They just ain't quite get there because they got sidetracked in a conversation about racism. They got into a sidetracked conversation about colorism. Because one of the women there did raise her hand and said, Tambra was like, raise your hand if you've ever been, you've ever felt racism, been, discriminated against. Well, of course, Kaylin didn't raise her hand, but there was another woman there that didn't raise her hand. And Tambra was like, you know what? I was that person up until a few months ago. I didn't think I'd ever been a victim of racism before. And so they got into the conversation because she's a light-skinned black woman that maybe she didn't feel racism or whatever. The whole colorism thing. And at a certain point, they started talking, about their experiences with how they've been treated and racism, just this. And Kaylon got upset and she ran out. So Antoinette went after her to find out, you okay? What's going on? And she's really upset. She's crying. And she was like, but we're not like this. White people, we don't do this. We don't talk about y'all like this. We don't do these things. And the first thing that pissed me off was that she made it seem like all white people. Clearly, there are some that do. Like, you are not tone deaf. This took place during the era of Black Lives Matter and George Floyd and Breonna Taylor and all these other names that I could keep going on and on and on. So clearly, you are not naive and crazy to think that there is absolutely no correlation and no connection. Like, come on, stop it. Like, come on and stop it. Now, if you want to say, hey, this isn't my experience, me and my family have never been this way, and it upset me to hear what you guys have gone through, boom. But to be upset because you mad because those are their experiences, you mad because they're talking about what their experiences have been as black women, because you saying that this ain't what white people do, that's bullshit and it's a lie and you know it. Okay? So then some of the other women came out there to talk to her and to let her know, listen, this is our experience, and I get it that it ain't, because at the end of the day, it ain't easy to hear. Like, when you a fly on the wall and you hear what people say about you, it ain't always easy to hear. But at the end of the day, it is their story and it's their experience, and you can't negate that. You can't negate their experience. And so she ends up going back in there, and she was explaining to them why she was upset. And they started having a conversation again. So then Marie wants to interrupt and say, I don't want to be disrespectful or anything. Well, she didn't say that, but it's time for us. I mean, Leticia had an announcement to make, and that's what we're here for, and I want to hear her announcement. I mean, that's my girl. And so then, of course, it became an issue. So Kaylon was like, well, I mean, we were having a conversation and this is important. And Marie was like, okay, well, this is important too. And I want my friend to be able to make her announcement. Baby, they got to going back and forth. The councilman got up and said, I'm out. Which, of course, made Letice feel some kind of way immediately because she's like, I want him here for a reason, and he's leaving because he's feeling uncomfortable with the direction that this whole situation is going in, and I want I want to make my damn announcement. Then Kaylon gonna say to Marie, well, you're not that important anyway. Or you're not important, or something to that effect. What she say that for? Listen, as much as Marie irritates me, as much as Marie I think is a bully, you were wrong for that. You don't tell that woman she's not important, or she doesn't matter, or whatever. Especially considering the racial tension that's in the room because your ass is sitting there. You don't get to say that. So then Marie was like, excuse me? Like, basically, I will whoop your ass. Okay? Now, mind you, the older woman who's there to represent Ferris Street, she's like, okay, this is getting disrespectful now. Now we being disrespectful. Like, she's trying to stop it. Letitia is trying to stop the whole thing from escalating. And the white woman gonna say, well, come here then. Marie said, this is not 1950. Ain't nobody coming to you. You don't get to summon me. I said, look, this is going in the wrong direction really quickly. It is ugly. Anyway, that's what it is. That's where it ends. I guess next week is going to pick up with the rest of this, and I hope we have some sort of resolution, child. But for the future reference, Antoinette, hey, Antoinette, don't be inviting your white friends to these all-black affairs no more. I'm sorry. Everything ain't for everybody. Okay? Okay.